Welcome in, everybody, to the Cogni-Thrive Podcast. Today, we are talking about cortisol hangover, and you'll find out what these pom-poms are all about when we come back.
Welcome to the Cogni-Thrive Podcast, where we help you understand the signs of early cognitive decline and the many ways available to keep your brain healthy. Judi Pritchard is a certified cognitive coach with more than 30 years of experience, and her company, Cogni-Thrive, provides comprehensive tools to support cognitive resilience as you age. Join Judi and her husband, Philip, as they continue to spread the message that dementia is not definite.
Welcome in, everybody. Judi, how are you?
I am fabulous, honey. How are you?
I'm good. We're just trying to get another podcast out. It's getting a little stressful getting these things out because your business is busy and everything is crazy.
And it's football season.
So tell us what we're taling about today.
So today's something we want to talk about: hangovers. Hangovers, not the kind that we had in college. But today we're going to talk about either what I call either cognitive hangovers or cortisol hangovers.
Cortisol.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, all right. So tell us, first of all, what's cortisol? I know you've mentioned it before, but tell us a little more about that.
Okay, so you know when you've had like a really busy day or a really busy few days, or you were out late last night, or perfect example, we used to tailgate at our favorite school with our kids and a whole bunch of friends the day of a home game. And by the time we would get home, it would be late at night.
Yep.
And we would be beat and tired and just exhausted the next day.
Right.
That's a cognitive or cortisol hangover.
Okay. So that next morning, it feels just like a real hangover for any of you who may drink. But it's like just that overwhelmed, exhausting, no motivation, just like you can't think straight.
Exactly.
Just everything's just kind of blah.
Just kind of slow. You may be grumpy, not like you're hangry grumpy, but
yeah, I get that.
But short fused. Everything just may seem like it's difficult. You know those days where you feel like everything you touch, you're going to drop?
Yes.
It's like one of those days. Everything's not firing.
You said it's like the get up and go hormone, the get up and go hormone. Get up and go hormone.
And no, he's not having a hangover. It's like that's what cortisol is. So it's your fight or flight hormone, if you think about it. The adrenal gland creates cortisol, and it goes to your brain and gives you that adrenaline boost. So it can be really good. So it's like when you have high stress, you're managing a lot of things, but you're nailing it because you've had a lot of rest, you were prepared, but you're still stressed, and it helps you regulate everything that you have to do in a very calm manner. It's also the one that gives you fight or flight. So it helps you in really high stress situations evaluate the stress or the safety concerns and make a quick split second decision. Split second decision on how to handle it. So that's when cortisol is in great healthy amounts in your brain. But the problem comes when it's too much, when you stay stressed for too long, or there's too much stimulation without a break in it, and that's when cortisol becomes heavy in your brain. And instead of being that helpful, helping off cylinders firing, it's the one that dampens things down, so it gets too heavy.
So it almost forces your body to just take a break.
Well,
in a bad way sometimes.
Yeah, because it's going to make your brain take a break because your brain can't. Although you are trying to work harder.
Yeah.
To try to
so even like on the football theme, Alabama had a rough start this season. This is 2025, by the way, in case you're watching this in 10 years. But I remember after watching that game, even just watching it from home, I was exhausted because I was on edge and I'm pulling for the team. And so I guess cortisol can be any kind of heightened awareness for a long period of time.
Yeah, you don't have to have a cognitive decline to have a cortisol or cognitive hangover. But when you do have a cognitive decline, even if you don't even know and it's not diagnosed, and it may be just starting, you have a harder time, your brain has a harder time managing and regulating that cortisol, even more so than you and I.
Right. So why is it harder for people with cognitive decline to kind of combat that?
Their brains don't turn off stress as easily. And so they don't recognize what's happening, and they don't necessarily self-regulate themselves to realize, okay, I've had a little bit too much. I need to step away. Instead, they try and stay in it, or they just don't even realize it, and they're staying in it and rolling along. And meanwhile, the cortisol is just building and building and building in their brains.
So, like, if that happens to, let's say, someone with cognitive decline, simple things like that. I know when I come home from a long, stressful day, and you're like, get in there and make dinner like I do every night.
You don't believe that, right?
But sometimes you'll lay out like a recipe for me. And I literally have to sit there and stare at it. It's like, this makes zero sense. And sometimes I think it's because I'm just mentally exhausted. So for someone with cognitive decline, I'm assuming that's amplified greatly.
Yeah, and it really is. And even if you're aware that you're having some problems and you have tools built in or approaches built in, they may not be effective at that moment because you are having such a reaction. You're having so much fatigue cognitively. And a prime example, going back to the recipe, laying it out. So we were both having a very busy day, just true confessions. And so I went and I had the food prepared, not prepared, but I had everything together, printed out the recipe, and the recipe happened to have a crock pot instructions or oven instructions. So beside crock pot, I wrote, skip this, go to oven.
Mm-hmm. But she wrote it this big.
Anyway,
so
I'm in the middle of a million things. He comes downstairs and he's like, this says it's going to take 8 hours in a crock pot. And it's already 5 o'clock.
I'd already called DoorDash. It was going to be fine. Shout out to DoorDash.
Yeah. Sponsor us.
So how are some other ways you can spot cognitive hangover?
Okay, so here's where knowing what's happening is so important, and being aware of yourself and being aware of your loved ones. So you can start to see it if you start to see them suddenly getting quieter or irritable, really irritable, where all of a sudden they're popping off at everything, and you can just tell they just have that look where they're just not enjoying themselves any longer. And by knowing their behaviors, knowing what they're typically like in these situations, you can start to spot it. And that's when you can start to help them, because they may even have problems as simple as following conversations, or here's a compounding part, if they happen to have a little bit of a hearing impairment that's not taken care of, they're struggling too just to hear the conversation. That's going to get even harder if they're starting to have a cortisol reaction. So shout out to the audiologist, get your hearing checked. Keep that in check, because that will help manage cortisol in stressful situations for a longer period of time. And a lot of times they'll want to shut down and just withdraw from the conversation or withdraw from the event. And watching and seeing those things can really help you see, okay, it's time for a little timeout. We need to step aside and take a breather.
Yeah, just go like a quiet place, deep breaths, and just let everything settle for a little while.
Yeah, think about a football game.
Yeah.
They get timeouts. How many timeouts do they get in a half? I don't know.
I know, right?
But that's because they need to pull the game back in and control the game because of what they're seeing happening. It's the same exact way with you or I. Mm-hmm. And if I see that you're getting stressed out, all right, time out. We're going to go and walk away for a minute.
We should all carry around little red flags, the coach throws in for a review, like to just stop everything. Yeah. We should just have those to just throw out when you're getting stressed. So, all right. So, well, you said you wanted to bring in football to this, so I'm trying.
You mean yellow flags or red flags?
No, yellow flags are penalties. Red flags are like for the coach to go, hey, I want to challenge that play. Let's stop everything. So
we're here to bring you good football knowledge.
Yeah. Anyway, that's why we're not doing a football podcast. So, all right. So tell us some ways you can help.
Yeah, great. So just think about days that you're stressed. What do you like to do when you're really stressed?
Take a deep breath.
Just like you were just doing. Take a deep breath.
Yeah. Breathing. I do that a lot during the day. It's just,
breathing's good to do a lot.
Yeah, the deep, when you feel yourself stressed out, just taking those deep breaths and really concentrating on your breathing slows your heart rate down, puts things in perspective. And it's just a healthy thing to do anytime you're stressed.
Well, think about it. When you take deep breaths, you're putting more oxygen into your system, which is also going to your brain, which helps you regulate the overload of cortisol.
Right.
So it helps you start to bring down those levels. So that's one. The other one is make sure you're hydrated. Being hydrated and eating on a regular basis, that gives your brain fuel. It keeps things fluid. It keeps down inflammation in your brain. And it's hard to do sometimes when you're in a major event or running from event to event to event. And it doesn't even have to be big events. So I know we're talking a lot about football and having fun with that, but it can also be a day of Christmas shopping where you're running from store to store to store to store and you're driving in between in traffic. Anything that's going to cause you longer periods of high stress. And when you have a cognitive decline, those periods don't have to be so long because it's harder for them to regulate it initially. So even in short periods, the key is tracking that behavior so you understand yourself, what you're seeing and how you're feeling.
Interesting.
A couple other things too, just like we were saying, have a timeout. Whatever the situation is, build in time for yourself to either take that deep breath or to just step outside. Step outside, get some fresh air, go for a little walk. Exercise is great because all the things we already talked about, bringing oxygen into your system.
And it doesn't have to be CrossFit. It could just be walking.
It's a good thing. So all those things, it's not rocket science as far as doing them. It's not expensive to do them. You just have to recognize it and do them before it gets to the point where it's too much.
And I think if you or a loved one has a mild cognitive impairment, it's also important to know these things moving into an event. Like if you're going to have a big family event or something going on that you know is going to more than likely cause some stress, maybe planning for downtime immediately after or just handling it throughout. Is that a good idea?
Yeah, it's a great idea. In fact, one of my clients I'm working with right now, we're starting to really see how just multiple stops in a car is causing a cortisol hangover type response. And so we're building in tools for him to where, when they get in the car, they have a list going of everywhere they have to go so he can monitor it. And he's in the very early stages, but that he can monitor it himself. And every time they go somewhere, they cross it off. And just like you or I, when we have a to-do list, crossing things off helps him feel better too, because he's like, okay, I know we have 3 more places to go. It's something I can predict. It's something I can count on.
It's control. It's giving them control to understand, okay, I know what's going on today and where we're going. And,
yeah, great point.
Which we all like control, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
To some degree.
Otherwise, you feel like you're in chaos when you have so much going on. And the other thing you can do is if you know certain situations are more likely to cause a cognitive hangover for your loved one or yourself, look at your overall schedule and don't pack things in day after day after day because it's going to not necessarily go well for you on those multiple days. And so if you can, build in a buffer day and do things on that buffer day that are relaxing, not overstimulating, not yard work in 150-degree weather like it is in the South, but do something that's relaxing. Watch movies, overhydrate, get yourself lots of fluids, and give yourself time to rebound.
Great information. Great information.
Switch over to basketball on you, didn't I?
Yeah. Basketball? You
Rebound.
did? Oh, rebound. Too much stimulation. So as always, it's really about understanding what your brain is doing, how it's functioning day to day. Until people really, truly understand what's going on in their brain, it's hard to predict or plan or react to those changes.
Ideally, don't wait until you know there's a major problem. We have a cognitive profile. You can take it just by giving us a message or call us, go to our website and do the Contact Me form. You can take it and you can start to know where how your brain is functioning for your age. And then you can monitor it. And the more you are empowered to know yourself and to know your loved ones by doing this, the better you'll be and the better you can strengthen your brain along the way because you're taking these healthy approaches.
And I think it's important, too, to know we've had a lot of people take the cognitive profile. The majority of them are perfectly normal. Yeah. So I know there's tons of stats, and it's very overwhelming that we just, dementia, and cognitive impairment. But don't let the fear stop you from doing it. It's like any other thing, like cancer diagnoses, getting your health care. It's all just part of your normal routine. So know how your brain's functioning. It's a fun test to do.
Look at it this way. If you are getting ready for a big game, you have a game strategy. You have a game plan. You've rehearsed that plan, you've practiced that plan, and you have all the players in place. You want to do the same thing for your brain. You want to know, how is it working? where are my weak areas, where are my weak players, where are my strong players.
Right.
And then you emphasize and grow both of them so that you don't run into problems down the road.
All right. Great information. So keep that cortisol down, keep the hangovers down. Thanks for listening. Be sure to follow us on all podcast platforms. Follow us on YouTube, and we will see you on the next one.
Don't forget to share it too.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening, and remember, we are not physicians, and you should always consult your doctor about what treatment is best for you. Please visit www.cogni-thrive.com to learn more about our services or to book Judi to speak at your next event.